Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Leggett here representing Team JVS. I am back here again for another movie review. Now, this movie is called Lamb. Now, this is directed by Valdimar Jóhannsson. This is starring Noomi, Rapace. And basically, we've got a husband and a wife. They're farmers. Sheep. They take care of sheep, goat. They tend to farm duties. They're trying to plant. And, you know, it's really, you know, you see they work really well as a team very early on. But one night, there's an altercation that happens in the pen where the goats are and where the sheep are. And you don't think anything of it, but it feels really weird. It seemed like something happened, but they don't really give you any kind of inclination of it. The other thing about the couple, they don't have any children, and it seems like they very much so be happy with children. Whether or not they can or not, it's not really described or explained. But at one point, you know, just like normal, the wife goes and takes care of the goats, and as they're having birth, like she goes and helps them out and gives it back to the mother. This one time, like one of the goats legit has a child, and they both, their eyes like go back and forth and they are freaking out, but they don't really react the way that I think that I would react or normal people react. They kind of just like really shocked about it, but then they go and take the little lamb and take it back to the house, and they decide to just nurture it in the house. Now, the thing about that, just based off that premise alone, the believability of the reality of the situation is just, I don't believe the actors' character's perspective on what's really happening. Now, there is a character that kind of rolls into the fray, which is the uncle. His name is Peter. Peter kind of comes into the scene. I still don't understand how he gets dropped off or how this happens, because it's a weird scene that happens and it kind of shows up at a really specific time. But I felt like he had the most believable reaction than anybody else. He kind of started like leaving certain jabs and questions, but it's also left an impression that there's some kind of relational situation that's going on between the three of them as well. Now, if hypothetically speaking, there was a situation where you see, you know, a miracle like this that happens, I would believe that both parents would not only have conflicting emotional thoughts, which they do. They do have moments where, like, the father, there's a scene where he's kind of on the tractor. He just all of a sudden starts breaking out crying because I think this realization that his wife is drawn to this young lamb that they, you know, called Ada. And then there's a moment where the wife, every single small little moment, there's a moment where, like, the mother goat just, like, continuously goes and pants and cries at the window where the baby is, and it's really ominously creepy. So the tone of this, I felt like, was shot and captured in this very well-riched dark tone. I felt like that was, the execution of that was really good. The problem is the delivery and the execution of the believability side of it. The believability of what was happening with the actual main characters, to me, it just doesn't add up. One, they didn't have any cell phones, which, I mean, on the farm, it's possible they didn't need it, but like the certain interactions didn't make any sense. The reason why they're doing certain things that they're doing, instead of trying to get answers, didn't add up to me, because it wasn't established enough as to, you know, why they value this lamb so much. Like, I mean, it's left up to my interpretation that they, you know, they couldn't have children, or they really wanted children and they just like decided to take this up there. But there are moments of violence in this. Like, there are some very gory scenes that you wouldn't expect, but the way they are executed, I think that they're shot very well. But there's one scene towards the back half. I think the execution was good, but there was something that happened, the CG of it. And I mean, part of the other thing is like the CG of Ada, you know, as a character herself, it just sometimes it just doesn't really necessarily work. Not because of what you would think. It's like fundamentally the framework, it works. But the way that Ada communicates isn't, it's just like the adults. Like, it's not believable the way they're reacting. Just like Ada, I felt like just so nonchalant about a lot of things that are happening. There's a specific moment revolving a gun happens out in the field that I was kind of like, I don't know where your reaction is. Like, I see it, like the CG works as far as the eyes, but I don't know what emotively you're feeling now, because it could be that you just don't care. It could be that you're scared. I don't know. And a part of that is the verbalization. Like, there's not a lot of verbal communication as far as the way that these people are actually feeling. Like, we're left up to your interpretation. From an artistic standpoint, that works. That's fundamentally good. But the way that they react to certain things and they're, you know, they don't question certain things. They don't watch Ada effectively. They don't talk amongst each other effectively. And then just some shots, to me, just kind of just weird for no reason. There's a shot in the very beginning I thought was a beautiful shot, opening shot. Oh, my gosh. And, yeah, they do pay it off in a way, but it's kind of like, what does that mean? It's left up to your interpretation, which there's some movies like that that really they go for it. They go for it. And I think that there are some things that I feel like from a cinematography standpoint, from a cinematic standpoint, from a blocking standpoint, work so well. But the story and the believability and the receiving side of it just don't work and flow for me, unfortunately. I'd rest this at the middle of the road at a 5 out of 10. I give it all the brownie points for the look and the tone and the feel, the execution of the believability of the characters and the way that things happen, and the acceptance of me just accepting what's going on is the thing where I kind of defer to as a negative, unfortunately. Let me know what you guys think of Lamb. I think it's worth watching, but it's not for everybody. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments below what you feel about Lamb. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. We got more coming, guys. Peace.